On today's episode of Wrong Side, we dive into the stress of moving and what's been going on in our lives, the NFL draft recap, NBA playoff update, moving and what it is like in your mid 20s when everything else is going haywire in your life, and finishing up with our clutch moment of the week and our world famous outside the line. Joe, you ready?
Bear down. Welcome back, guys. Episode 9. Hope you guys enjoyed our new intro song, Iris by Ashes to Amber. Go check out our interview with Kane Acosta in last week's episode. On to this week. Been a big week for the both of us. Mike, what's new?
Pretty tame week, obviously with work, but had two stories I wanted to share. I felt like a lot of people would enjoy these. Actually, both happened to me Friday night at the Angels game, Angels Twins, and we were sitting there. It was my parents and I and my buddy Dean. We were at the game, and sometimes when we're at these games, scouts end up sitting next to us. It doesn't really matter what kind of scout. Sometimes it's the we've sat next to someone before that was from Tokyo, like a Japanese team was scouting. We've sat next to Angel Scouts, just getting notes on their own guys. But most of the time, it's other teams, Major League Scouts, getting everything down. So we sit down. Obviously, we see a guy with his pad and paper. It's like the same thing. Everyone's got a pad and paper and a stopwatch. It's very easy to tell. But this scout, very old. Like probably, if you've seen Trouble with the Curve, have you seen that movie?
I've not.
Okay, it's Clint Eastwood. He's the scout. Amy Adams is his daughter. Justin Timberlake. But he's like this guy who he's still scouting in baseball, and you can tell he's kind of getting aged out in a sense where this movie was a couple years ago, but like analytics are kind of coming in, but like older scout, what he's playing baseball the right way, like his way. Like pitchers are throwing 100 pitches. There's no innings limit, like stuff like that. So I could tell right off the bat this guy was going to be very similar. And we're talking, and we kind of are just like Dean and I are talking about just the Angels and how bad they are. And he kind of hears us laughing, and we make a joke about Joe Adell in right field. That's our right fielder. And I say like, geez, I can't believe he let that drop. And he kind of chuckles and is like, yeah, I've had enough of him, basically. And I was like, oh, not a big Adele fan. And he's like, no, it's enough already. And kind of basically what our thoughts have been, which I believe is just funny. And basically, we start chatting here and there, like small tidbits, and we got on the topic of Mason Miller for the A's. We kind of talked about him a few weeks back in one of the interviews, but he's a relief pitcher for the A's. Very entertaining. He was a D3 pitcher, kind of struggled, found his way onto a big league roster. He's been dominating for the A's in the bullpen. We were talking about Dallas Braden, who, if you're not familiar with Dallas Braden, he's an ex-A's pitcher. He works with Jared Carabas on Baseball is Dead, and he's very funny. He's a character. That's a perfect word to use because that's how we explain him in this conversation. So we were talking to him, and we're like, what do you think about Mason Miller? Again, at this point in the conversation, we didn't know who he worked for. And he was like, I think Mason Miller's a great arm. He's very entertaining and like stuff like that. And I said, yeah, like Dallas Braden is crazy about him. He started laughing, like small laugh. He was like, Dallas Braden, that guy's a fucking kook. And I was like, yeah, he is. And Dean and I are chuckling and talking about it with him. And he's like, and he even said, agreeing with Dean, he was like, he's a character. And Dean's like, yeah, that's exactly what he is. Like, he's a character. And he's like, but we need more guys like that, which especially me, I agree with. Baseball needs more entertaining people. So I make a joke. Yep. I say, what do you mean? You don't think AJ Przinsky, ex-catcher for the White Sox and the Braves, scumbag of the earth in my mind. I say
World Series champion.
I don't think, nope, we'll get into that. That's part of the story. I said, you don't think AJ Przinsky is very personable? Like Dallas Brennan, he like laughs. He's like, well, AJ Przinsky's got a different personality. He's kind of like more straightforward and he doesn't care about people who shit talk. And I like kind of was like listening to him talk and I was like, wow, that was like very complimentary of like AJ Przinsky, because every person, every fan, every like person I've ever heard like hated him, just like a scumbag guy. So we keep talking to him just about the game and we're making jokes here and there. And I finally asked him probably about the fourth inning. This is kind of when the conversation really picked up. I said, who do you work for? And he said, I actually have been a scout for about 25, 30 years. I used to be in the big leagues as well. I used to be a pitcher. Bill Schorr is his name. He's from Buffalo, played for the Tigers.
Shout out.
And he was like, I started in 97. I started with the Marlins, the original Marlins, and I won a ring with Dombrowski in 97. So sorry, Moops, but
Wow.
that was against them. But I started with them, and I was like, wow, that's very entertaining. And like, that's like Dombrowski's a big name, and especially Bino, if he's listening to this, he'll know Dombrowski's like massive name, and everybody knows who he is in baseball. So it's very entertaining. So he tells me that. Then he says, yeah, I've worked for the Reds, whatever. And then I go, so who do you work for now? He says, I've actually been working for the team you just mentioned and the worst team in baseball for the last 22 years, the Chicago White Sox. And I was like,
Let's
oh,
go.
fuck. I was like, no, because I went on a rant about how he's a cheater and the 2005 LDS, and he started laughing. And I think he probably thought I was just like a dipshit, like kid in my 20s fan. Because like I was talking ball, but like there's a certain point where I think people have in those conversations where they realize, okay, maybe this guy's not just like a
Oh yeah.
fake fan.
There's levels to this. There's
Levels to
levels to
this. So
this.
we started talking, and
Yes.
we were asking about that, and we started talking about that Angels White Sox series, and I made fun that he was giving complimentary like compliments to AJ Przinsky, and I was saying that. And basically, we talked about the White Sox. I tried to get our buddy Caden Connor. So, if you're listening, or any of our friends that know Caden Connor, he's in the minor league system for the White Sox. He wouldn't make a deal for you. I tried my best, but he wouldn't get it done. Along with that, though, he asked me, and I think this was the question that really made him realize, like, oh, fuck, these guys know ball. Was he asked me when we were talking about the '05 LDS, he's like, you know who had a really good series? And he kind of was like, it was like a soft ask. And I was like, yeah. He's like, who? He's like, Jermaine Dye. And he's like, that's exactly what I was talking about. He's like,
Yep.
yes. He's like, that's incredible that you pulled that. So we started talking about that, talking baseball. We talked to other players, and just a great conversation. I felt like for the guy, like, especially me, I love talking baseball. And like, I don't really get to talk a lot of baseball outside of my friend groups. When you get new minds, especially a guy who's had like 50 years of experience, like
Oh yeah.
incredible, incredible. So that was my scout story. My other story, a little smaller, but another random story. I was going to the bathroom and I ran into our family friend, the Groggers, who are very close with the Trouts. So my
Oh,
Trout and
Michael Trout?
Michael Nelson, yes. And I actually was said hello to them. I met them and introduced myself. And the dad we knew was like, "Oh, Nancy. This is her son. Oh, I know Nancy." We talked like that. We end up going to the bathroom, coming back. My parents are now sitting with the Groggers and the Trouts. And we spent the
Let's
last
go.
2 innings hanging out with Trout, his wife, and his kid. Very nice family. Beckham, Bat, very nice kid. He was using his little car. I felt it on my back. He was like rolling on my back. So great kid, great family. They got to watch the drone show, the Star Wars drone show on the field with Daddy. So it was cool. It
Nice.
was a very cool moment and great story. I don't know, very weird turn of events for my Friday night, especially with the Feeble Angels. But they made losing a lot more manageable having two great conversations that night. So those are my two highlights.
That's sick.
I know I may have rambled for people listening, but I was pretty excited about those conversations, and that those were my two highlights of the week because I know nobody wants to fucking hear about audit accounting. So I hope you guys enjoyed two life stories that happened to me. But Joey, what else happened to you? I know I kind of took over, but what were you up to this week?
First of all, those are some sick stories. I'm surprised you didn't end up on the field with the Trouts as well to see the
Oh,
drone show.
also, I did shout you out. We ripped in the Reinsdorf.
Thank
Reinsdorf
God.
got a
Thank
good
God.
review. He did say I'm like
Reinsdorf
in the
is
middle. It is his employer, but he did say, yeah, I understand why fans would hate him. And I was like, yeah, my buddy from Chicago is not a fan, but he likes the Bulls. He goes, oh, he's ruined them. They're gone. And I was like,
war criminal.
oh no. I was like,
Absolute war
so
criminal.
Jerry Reinsdorf caught some strays as
Facts.
well.
Facts. That dude, I've had a few conversations like running in with like people who actually work in sports, and the feeling, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. The feeling when like you actually know ball and this person like looks at you
Oh
like,
yeah.
okay, like we're actually going to dig into this a little bit. That's an
We
awesome
broke
feeling as a
down like the
sports fan.
entire 2005 playoffs, and I'm aware that I was 5 years old at that time, but like I've seen so many
Yeah.
videos and I've watched and I've read a lot about baseball where I was able to keep up, and I think he was heavily impressed by that. So Dean and I, shout out Dean
W.
as well for taking it over too. We were talking great ball, so that's what happened to
Love
me at
it.
the Angel
Dean's the
game.
man. Nice. Me, not as fun of a week as that. Been busy at work, been packing, moving in this week, which we'll get into a little later. Super exciting. But it was a big week around the city, dare I say the whole state and the surrounding
Oh,
states as well. NFL draft week. Bears are back. Super Bowl in the next appearance in the Super Bowl in the next 5 years, according to Nick Wright. Great, and my week truly did revolve around the NFL draft. I know we got a lot to get into, so I have a lot to say, so I'll kick it straight back to you.
before we go into the breakdown, obviously the draft was Wednesday night and Thursday morning Christmas Eve, Christmas vibes.
Wednesday night, I was with all my friends at trivia and we were talking
Oh
it up. Like,
man,
we're like, oh my God, like 24 hours from now, like we are back. So Wednesday night, very Christmas Eve. Thursday, I was in the office. There were a couple of
lay
my
your
coworkers
jersey
with
out the night
me.
before.
I thought about wearing a jersey to the office, but I didn't. I go into the office on Thursday, like really excited, to, like talk some ball. I
Do
have a
they
few
talk
like
ball? Like, what is the coworker vibe? Like,
so I got some big college football fans, like one guy in
okay,
particular who's like 55, but I'm like, hey, NFL draft, like he's a Michigan man, which is a whole nother story, but he's also kind of a Lions fan, but the Lions haven't had much to root for lately. So he's
okay.
like, so I walk in, I'm like, hey, like big day, like you ready? Like, are you a Lions fan? Like the draft was in Detroit.
Oh right.
What's the deal? He's like, I'm not, I don't really follow it. So I was like sitting there all day, like on my phone a ton, like really getting into it. But the draft started for me as soon as I walked out those doors.
Oh
So
yeah.
Thursday during the day, I was working whatever, but
Those hours
got
had to have
there.
been so slow, like noon to like 7 at the time of the
It
draft.
was a
Had to have
long
been like the
it was a
longest
long
time.
day. I'll say being in the office honestly made it fly by a little quicker because like I get the commute, I get home, I
But you're
change, and
just
it's like
thinking.
it's
But you're
here.
just thinking about it the whole
Oh,
time.
I'm breaking down the trades. We had our mock drafts up on the Instagram. I was like checking like if anybody commented like that my draft was better, and it was the NFL draft. So we had to get there. We got there like an hour early. It
Love that.
filled up real quickly. Real local vibe. It was awesome. Um, the draft starts, and here we are.
The rest is history.
Caleb. The rest is history. So I have a. I'll start with the Bears.
My
Fuck it.
my
Fuck it.
my
We'll do it
my
live.
one Bucket will do it live. My one issue though, it wasn't Pole's fault or Caleb's fault. I don't know if you saw the call with Poles to Caleb. He's like,
They gotta
I
wait.
got to
They gotta
that's
wait.
so stupid. Like I know they have to do
And
that.
we.
Like that they should
I've been
not have
saying that for
released that.
yeah.
They should not have released that footage. Like
That
because like everybody now
yeah.
knows
That
that that's how it is. Like
bad content management by the NFL
yeah,
had to wait. Like everyone was getting antsy. The pick is in at about 5 minutes to go on the
I mean
clock. They actually
ridiculous.
restarted it at one point, which was weird, but the pick is in. Caleb Williams comes out screaming. He's got the
He was
claw
ready.
going. Like he is. People were saying that he was not ready to be a Bear. Like he was going to Eli Manning us and like didn't want to go to
Yeah,
us.
right.
The Bears made moves. Poles masterclass once again. Caleb Williams is a Bear, and I truly think he is excited to be here and is going to turn us around. I'm sitting here today with high hopes for the Bears, higher than maybe ever, including Justin Fields, who I love wholeheartedly. But Caleb and Rome, it was a perfect draft for the Bears, and we'll get to a little more of the picks, but it was perfect.
Before Caleb plays a snap, do you believe that the most important quarterback in Bears history is Davis Mills?
Top two, right up there with
Has to
Caleb
be.
Williams.
Has to be. I mean, has to be Davis Mills and Bryce Young. Has to be the two top, and maybe Robbie Gross, maybe,
Yeah,
or
Rex
Rex
Grossman, sexy
Grossman.
Rexy.
So maybe just them. He's the real Bears, but those two, Lovie Smith, all time Bear.
Goat.
Um,
He gets a statue. He
he
gets a slightly
definitely
bigger
gets a
statue than
statue.
Justin
Definitely
Fields
gets a
and a
statue.
slightly smaller statue than Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I mean, what a day. I love the draft. I mean, obviously, like it's kind of not as exciting, I feel like, if you're a later pick and not a Super Bowl champion, because you're like, man, what a fucking wasted season. And I'm not gonna get into the Cowboys
Yeah.
like that. But winners and losers, I felt like there were a ton. I felt like it was an insane draft. It was a record draft. There were 4 of the first 8 picks were quarterbacks, new NFL record. 5 of the top 10
Mhm.
quarterbacks, new record, and 6 total quarterbacks in the top 15 was insane, considering we thought we were only going to get 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
And we're going to break that down in winners and losers. But another crazy thing I saw was defense ignored. 14 straight picks, longest streak ever to start a draft. And
What happened to the league I love?
what happened in the league I love, but TK and the Colts saved us with Latu from UCLA. And
Yes, sir.
then to put Nick Wright in his spot, I will say, although I want the Bears to be successful, although Nick Wright has made me believe in the Lakers, and Nick Wright is one of the best analysts in the game, I do want to point out that since 2011, 38 first-round quarterbacks have been selected, and one has made and won a Super Bowl. Yes, Burrow's made it. Yes, other quarterbacks have made it, but only one has won a Super Bowl since 2011. Maybe the tide turns. Maybe it helps that Tom Brady isn't around anymore. But I just want to put that out there for any fans that are like, oh, maybe it's slam dunk, just to let everyone know.
No, it's never a slam dunk in this league. It's a tough ass league, and we have one of the toughest divisions in the league. And I welcome all of it. I welcome the smoke. Caleb Williams is prepared. He's got a broad set of shoulders, ready to carry all the pressure that's about to be laid on him by the city, a city that is turning upwards. Besides Jerry Reinsdorf, but who cares about the stats, man? Like, he is coming in with a new energy to the city and to the fan base. Like, I'm here and I'm ready. Who knows if it works out? In fact, I think defenders are probably going to be coming at his head, but I think he's aware of that as well. He's controlling the narrative perfectly. I think he's right where he wants to be, and I'm super excited
I
about
actually,
it. I was doubtful,
I was
but he's here.
very I mean, obviously not a Bears fan, but I was very excited by the reaction. I feel like that was a very raw reaction, very excited reaction. You don't really see
Yes.
that often. You maybe see like a couple claps and like you hug Adele and you're excited to be like on that stage. But he was ready. He was ready for that business. Like I saw after like I don't know if it was Molly McGrath or whoever the reporter was down. There's always a stage reporter like down the stage,
Yep.
and I saw
Mhm.
some pictures later that night after the draft was over of like Caleb and fans, and I thought it was pretty great because it was like a selfie with like Caleb, Bears fans. In the background, you see like very irritated,
Yep.
like Packers, Lions, Vikings fans. And I thought that was pretty great. So it just feels like he's ready to go. And like obviously with the Rome pick, and like we're gonna like we said, we'll get into it, but I think he's ready to go. And I still feel sad for Justin that he didn't get the situation. You know, we love Justin. We're
He
pro
gets a
Justin.
small
He
statue
gets a small
still. He
statue,
gets a mini
but
statue.
the weapons are there. The line is still, I think we'll see how that's redone. And if the defense can continue where they picked up or pick up where they
10
can
games at least.
pick up where they
10 wins at
finished.
least.
So 10 wins at least. Okay. So
10 wins at
that's a
least.
playoff team.
That's a play. Well, not necessarily in the toughest division in football,
Well,
but
10,
10
10,
wins.
10 should get you to the playoffs at least. At least.
It's a weekend. It's a week NFC. We'll see.
So we'll see. So looking at the entire draft, obviously we can't talk Bears forever. What are
We
some of your
could.
winners? Who are your winners? I have some, but who are yours?
I already said perfect draft for the Bears and polls. Another winner. Got to shout out the boy. What's up, brother? Sketch. Houston Texans pick. I think it was third or fourth
Fourth
rounder.
round, and
Stroud.
it was Stover.
Stover, Buckeye, Ohio State, back with Stroud. Kind of sucks. I believe Dalton Schultz is the tight
Yeah,
end one
I don't know
in
what the reason
Houston.
for, but Sketch being there, generational run.
Generational run. I hope Stover gets a shot. I hope Stroud has like not been shy about campaigning, like even campaigning for Fields and like the guys that he wants. So hopefully Stover finds a spot on the field. I thought he was super great, super reliable at Ohio State. Honestly, almost could argue he should have gone higher,
Yeah.
but I bet Stroud was on the phone with the GM saying this guy's a stud, big farmer. He actually like has a farm, but I was excited to see Stroud and Stover get back together.
Stroud's.
Also, one
Oh,
one more winner. One more winner. Sorry to interrupt.
no.
Hate the guy. Jim Harbaugh had one of the best quotes. They had a good draft. Jim Harbaugh had one of the quotes of the draft. Took Joe Alt at number
Jim,
5.
what do you think about having no weapons?
O linemen are weapons. He actually jumped the gun on the question. He said, first thing he said in the press conference, I know the question is going to come up about weapons. Here we do see O linemen as weapons. So the wide receiver room is absolutely abysmal, but they're building. I think Jim Harbaugh is a great football coach and is going to build this team up the right way. So I think the fans may not have loved it, but ball knowers are nodding their heads in
I
solidarity
mean,
that we're building
obviously
something in LA.
not a sexy pick. I mean, whenever you take O line, I feel like everyone wants somebody flashy. Like, but you know, Marv was gone. They didn't need a quarterback in that spot. I know there was a lot of talks. I think I put it in my mock draft on the Instagram. Maybe you did too. Trading back
Yeah.
into the
Yep.
So I know that was talked about. I know there was concern in the sense of drafting Alt, and you already have Slater in that same spot, and why are you drafting someone in one of the two positions you have shirt up on that offense? But I think
Yeah.
he's a guy that can flip sides, and he's going to be very good, and they're going to be successful. I think their draft was low key very underrated. They got Ladd, Colson, Brendan Rice late. They're going to be interesting to watch.
Good draft.
Still, obviously
Mm-hmm.
chasing Patrick, but interesting to watch. Any more winners outside of Sketch and the Bears and the Chargers?
Nope. Those are my winners.
All right, I like that. Sketch was awesome, and he recovered from. I don't know if you saw. Looked like he tore his hamstring a couple days before
Yes.
with Caleb.
Yes.
With Caleb throwing passes. So Sketch was great. Sketch, if you're listening, we would love to have you on.
Yes, brother.
Yes, brother, please. My winners, in the sketch category of non-players, I had NFL fans getting the chance to listen to Bill Belichick and Nick Saban talk for 3 days.
Oh yeah,
Those guys are great.
criminal that they weren't on the same
Yeah,
broadcast.
that's okay. I think they're different. I actually feel like Belichick is more College Game Day and Saban is more Pat McAfee. So kind of personally, and Saban was on McAfee like every Tuesday when he was coaching.
Yeah.
I did
Mhm.
think it was pretty hilarious though when Saban basically outed himself for a tampering situation. I don't know if that will come
Yeah.
back to
There's
Alabama,
no
but
way.
basically he said that they tried to get Mitchell from Toledo, who the Eagles drafted, to enter the portal. He just never would go, and kind of
Yep.
concerning, I think, in the whole grand scheme of the transfer portal. But that was my interest because those guys are so fucking knowledgeable, and I really enjoyed listening to some of the things they said, and I really liked it. So
Mhm.
those fans, winners. My
Yep.
next winner was Bo Nix getting not. I'm not a huge Bo Nix fan, but I feel like the Broncos drafting Troy Franklin to work with him was a very good move. Giving someone who's comfortable, they just got rid of Judy. That's a younger guy. Let him have his guys to work with. I thought that was very helpful. So that's another winner. Another,
I thought Bo Nix to the Broncos was a great pick. Like I
yeah,
think Sean Payton loved him. Maybe see some Drew Brees in him.
okay.
Bo Nix, I think got probably drafted a little too high. There's a lot of questions about him. Like he was a master of the Oregon system. What else
I
can
think you
he
could have
do?
traded
But
back
I've
and gotten
I've been
him.
probably fair, but I've been screaming Bo Nix to the Broncos from the rooftops for a couple weeks now, and I think that could be a sneaky good pick. And like when you look back on it,
Yeah, I mean they we'll see. Sean Payton, obviously, he was a disaster with Russ last year, but we'll see how he
they are a
handles and
disaster.
kind of a new roster, younger roster. So we'll see that. My other two winners are Will McClay, who is one of the like special assistants to the president of the Cowboys. It's Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and then him. Shout out Will McClay for somehow convincing Jerry not to do anything flashy. I'm totally okay with that. I understand that the running back is still in need of issue, but they shored up the line. They got linebackers. That is what they needed to do. Those aren't sexy drafts, but when you create a line like that, when you create guys that'll help stop the run, those were issues. Those were issues they had.
Yeah,
And the fact that Will McClay was able to convince Jerry not to take Xavier Worthy at 24, or someone else, or like a running back, Jonathan Brooks early. Thank God Jonathan Brooks went before they picked in the second round. So shout out Will McClay. Genius. Not a sexy draft for the Cowboys. A very needed draft. I'm okay with drafts. And everybody on Twitter, non-ball knowers, what about a wide receiver? What about a running back? Shut your mouth. The run game, Dak was the left side of Dak's line was disgusting last year, and the run was why we lost to the Packers. That's what happened.
yep.
They fixed those two issues in the first 4 rounds of the draft. So that's another winner. And my last winner goes out to Sam Stein, not having JJ McCarthy as your quarterback.
That was the funniest. Sam
Stein was going berserk. I mean, he sent some of these insane messages when they didn't draft him. Moose said it was a Passover miracle. He was basically saying how we're going to get screwed and I'm going to be Jew in Egypt because I'm going to have JJ McCarthy. And we were like, geez, this is intense. But Stein, congratulations. You don't have JJ as your quarterback. You now have a frustrated wide receiver that doesn't want to play with Daniel Jones, which leads me into my losers of the draft.
Number one
Number
for me as
one,
well.
Malik Neighbors, not happy, I think. He was not happy getting out of the car. He had to shut off his Instagram live. He was a mess.
Spin zone. Diva wide receivers make for great wide receivers.
Maybe.
He's starting it off before he's even stepped on the field.
Maybe. Odell was a diva, and he did well there.
Odell was a diva.
And the Odell catch.
Jamar is
I
a
don't know if
diva.
you know this. The Odell catch, the Cowboys won that game. A lot of people forget it.
They did.
A lot of people forget that.
The Giants, it's good they didn't draft McCarthy. He would not have succeeded with them. And you got to understand Neighbors' frustration after the last year they've had. But like, shit. Good luck, Malik, I guess is all I have to say there.
Do you think that Tommy DeVito is hated in New York? Because I see a lot of Giants fans actually get upset about it. Like, why did we win those extra games and like love this guy? And now they were stuck in that spot and like could have potentially gotten higher. Like, do you think, I don't know. I don't think, I thought, like, I don't know. I'm obviously not a Giants fan and they wins Giants. Like, I hate
Hopium.
Giants.
He provided nothing but hope.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
But Is some hopium better than no hopium at all? Getting a little woke
Mm.
for the listeners here. I mean, he won. It's good to win games. Not fun to go 0-16, I imagine. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it long term, real ball knowers are always suffering. If you're looking at it long term, it's probably not. Tommy DeVito is probably not going to age well. Like, he won some games unnecessarily. So I didn't think about that take, but it's not a bad
I
one.
saw it on Twitter like after they drafted Neighbors, and they were like pissed, and I was like, oh, what an interesting point I didn't think about. So
Yeah,
that's one of my losers. Another loser,
Giants are losers.
Bills. Are you okay? Is my note I made.
Bitch move. Bitch move.
If people don't remember this, but when the Chiefs drafted Mahomes, they traded with the Bills to get him. They moved up with the Bills to get him. They traded with the Chiefs again. They got Worthy.
32-33, I think. Yeah, the fastest guy ever. You have been Bills have been struggling with the Chiefs for the last 4 or 5 years.
And they hand gift
Tyreek
this
Hill
guy.
leaves. You hand him a faster Tyreek Hill. Why would you do anything? Like, also, how awkward does that GM phone call have to be? Like,
hey,
it's me, the GM of the Chiefs. How are you doing? I'm doing great, by the way. I've won 2 Super Bowls in the last few years. Hope you're doing okay.
I don't get it. Like, was there kind of like a, when you're little, like, oh, I promise I won't do it, and your like fingers are crossed behind your back, like, what the fuck?
What did they think?
Why were they thinking
And the
that?
Bills needed a wide receiver. Like,
And
they
didn't they say the whole thing to Diggs, like, oh, we'll grant you a trade, but anybody but the Chiefs? Like they said,
did they say
I'm
that?
pretty sure they said that to him. That like it came
That's
out.
hilarious.
So like you obviously the Chiefs need a wide receiver. Like I don't know. So Bills, what are you doing? I just like I don't know. What were we gonna say? I don't know. I just don't know why they would do it again.
I all I have to say is bitch move.
And it's one thing if it was like kind of like a point, like they made the trade for Mahomes, like that trade, and like they just kind of went down a Bills path and like didn't have the like head to head with the Chiefs, but like they have stopped you the last 3 years. I guess the Bengals did one year, but like I just don't know. Like it makes me laugh. Like what
ridiculous.
The fuck?
Yeah, it's sad. It's real sad.
And my last loser, because I know you have a couple as well, are the Raiders. Kind of. I feel like they're losers in a sense because they didn't have a chance to grab a quarterback. They obviously could have traded up to get some money, but it felt like they didn't want to give up for 3 or 6 or something like that. And they got stuck. Not stuck. I think Brock Bowers is an incredible prospect. I think Brock Bowers is going to be phenomenal in the NFL. But I think they kind of got like screwed out with so many quarterbacks. But is the Shedeur Sanders or Quinn Ewers tank on for the Raiders?
That's a great take because they don't have a lot to be excited about.
No.
Like outside of Brock Bowers.
Devontae, I guess.
But if you don't have
they're
abysmal.
They have AOC, Aiden O'Connell.
Stevenson High School.
Yep. And then they have Gardner Minshew. Just signed like a 1-year deal.
Gardner Minshew should start. Aiden O'Connell did not look very exciting. But
Gardner
I don't know.
Colts to the playoffs, so like he's not.
Yeah,
awful.
Gardner's not a bad starter, but I don't know how I don't know how you decide to tank for Shedeur Ewers after. Like I'd say like you're more likely to trade up in this draft and tank for any of those two.
No,
so
yeah, I think I don't know
what
if it was
the
a
hell
tank.
is going
I
on.
just feel like it was like a what the fuck, like. And
it's 100% a what the fuck.
I'm pretty sure they took Michael Mayer last year.
Yeah, they literally just took a tight end.
So like, what the fuck were they doing? So that was my other loser. So I don't know. There's losers always. There's always losers. Who are yours?
Losers gonna lose. I know this has been going out all over the place after the Bears draft, but losers continue to be the Panthers. I think this will truly get looked at. This on paper should really get looked on as like the biggest trade, like one-sided trade in NFL history.
That trade is bad.
It doesn't matter what they didn't have their number 1 overall pick wasn't to them. So like I don't care what they did in the draft. They're still gonna suck. They're stuck with Bryce Young. They got Bryce Young. The Bears got DJ Moore, picks that ended up in Darnell Wright, starting tackle for the time being. Tyreek Stevenson, starting corner for the time being. Still both very solid young pieces. Obviously, we'll see where they go, but very solid young pieces. Caleb Williams, We'll see how it shakes out, but on paper, this looks pretty fucking good. You got to keep the number 9 pick, which ended up in Rome
Right.
Odunze, and you have Carolina's 2025 second-round pick and your own first-round pick in 2025.
I did not know they had another second. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's like
I actually was like I actually looked at their draft class and thought it wasn't bad because they got a couple weapons. Like I actually was like okay with the draft, but I mean, I guess
I mean,
in the graphic,
okay with the draft is as high as you can
the
be.
graphic is like tough. I understand that, but their players. I thought you meant their players. They got Brooks, they got LeGarrette from South Carolina, so they have actually a decent like skill player draft. But yeah, the graphic that was going around is it's a
It's
tough look.
absurd. With and again, shout out to Ryan Poles. He is literally my father. He took some really bad contracts on the Bears. He pulled that trade off. Like he's getting us out of cap hell into like asset heaven. Like bro's cooking. Bro is cooking. So the Panthers and Bears winners, Panthers losers. Like that was sick. I also had neighbors being frustrated and the Bills on my list. And then loser potentially myself.
Oh,
I am excited about Caleb Williams.
oh no!
I am very excited about the Bears standing in the division, but we're in a really weird time where the NFC North, who really only had the Packers for the most of my growing up, the NFC North is a super competitive division in football, and my arch rival of my entire life isn't that far away from me. He could have went to LA. He could have went to the Canadian Football League is what I expected him to go to. But no, JJ McCarthy, JJ McNational champion is a Minnesota
Take that
Viking
back.
and is
Take that back. Take that nickname back.
he is a national JJ McNatty.
You're disgusting.
JJ McNatty is a Minnesota Viking. And this is the best case scenario for him as someone who is
Disgusting
really
that
the
you said
epitome
that. Disgusting.
the epitome of a game manager. I get to play twice a year, though I think I have the quarterback edge between him and Caleb Williams. He knows how to win and he knows how to make me sad. And now he has the ability to do that.
Oh
He has the ability to
man.
continue to do that from the high school level in Illinois football to the college level. And now in the NFL,
The whole
JJ
life, the
McCarthy
whole
is
circle of life is definitely tough. You know, like it's one thing if he was like from Texas, like, and then he just went to, you know, that's one thing. But like
yeah,
literally from start to finish, it's pretty bad. And I,
two sides of the coin, me and JJ McCarthy. That's what people are saying.
who's people? Me.
Me.
um, and the biggest loser, overall loser. This is number one. Michael Penix.
I'm sad. I am nothing but sad. Well,
It has nothing to do with Penix, I think. I actually think Penix
No.
ain't good. I thought if Penix fell to Vegas, not Oakland, sorry, Vegas, formerly known as Oakland, if he fell to them, they would have taken him and could have been a good spot. I saw him maybe like late second round, stuff like that. But I just talk about not knowing what the fuck you're doing, paying out over $100 million for Kirk, and then you're going to sign Penix. I mean, Penix is going to be a sick starting quarterback when Meg's in residency. Like that's when he'll be starting. Like when Meg's in
4 years
residency.
from
Yeah.
now.
So that he'll be sick, but I mean it's ridiculous. I think I feel bad for him.
The-
Awful
the-
spot.
The awful spot. The Falcon. I feel bad for everybody except for the Falcons GM. The
Agreed.
Falcons have picked at spot number 8 for the last 3 years in a row. I
Drake,
think at the beginning of
Drake London, Pitts, and him.
Kyle Pitts, Bijan Rob.
Bijan
may have went higher, I believe.
Bijan. It was Bijan, not Drake London.
Kyle Pitts, highest tight end ever drafted. Bijan
Really?
Robinson in a
Oh.
day and age where I'm pretty sure he's a tight end.
And
highest tight end
war,
ever drafted.
war criminal Arthur Smith didn't use Bijan Robinson, right?
At least it's a bright spot they don't have Arthur Smith anymore because
Thank
I mean
God.
maybe he would have pulled out someone's pulling out a 2 quarterback set with these guys, but you're picking at number 8 again, and what do? You signed 33-year-old Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles injury. You'd think that maybe there's thought like Kirk Cousins is not your long-term solution. You knew this when you signed him to a fat contract anyways. Maybe you draft a young quarterback to go behind a really accomplished Kirk Cousins.
But maybe
and learn
like
for a few years before
Rattler,
you
like
retire.
someone later. You take someone later.
You take someone later. People were talking about like the Vikings trading up as high as 5 for JJ McCarthy, like make a move or something. But no, they draft the oldest quarterback in the draft who has had the longest injury history in any quarterback in recent memory, who I think is potentially the most talented arm in the draft.
Yeah.
But due to age and like his body, like you're not gonna draft him number 8 overall. So what the video of the owner and the GM was
Do you
hilarious.
think
Like
that's real? Do
you
you
should be
think
fired
that's
on the spot.
real? Like everyone was
I mean,
captioning
they
it
probably
like
weren't like,
no,
yeah,
I think there's zero shot he was like just finding out. I mean, unless he's like Jerry, like unless he's not like Jerry where he's like
that
involved, like which most
that would
owners
be
aren't.
ridiculous. But I even if Michael Penix goes on to like, I'd say like even if he argues to go on and win a Super Bowl, like you could fire the GM tomorrow, and I don't think anybody would have too much of a problem with that. Just with
Yeah,
poor
yeah.
cap management, poor asset management of the pick, like
Well,
you probably could have
because
gotten Penix at 23 or something.
it'll be interesting because I don't really. Where is Jordan Love at in his contract, like his rookie deal? Is this year 3? Like what was he in?
I have no idea.
Okay, so my point being is like usually like Kirkside is a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
So Kirk's on a 3-year deal. Let's say he's consistent for 3 years. That means by year
Mhm.
4, that'll be Penix's last year of his rookie deal, and the 5th year is a team option for a rookie deal.
Yep.
So you realistically would have like 2 years of just like or 3 years of doing nothing to hope to get in, and like then has a year and a half to really make it bank. And then like, will he get that contract? Does he get a second contract? So I don't know. I think when you get someone like Kirk Cousins who's coming off an Achilles injury, boost the line, boost things that
Yeah.
boost defense. Like the Jets this year
Get
took
another
Jets,
wide receiver.
Yeah, get another wide receiver. The Jets took somebody to boost the O line, and like that was a good pick. Not flashy, but like you got to protect Aaron Rodgers coming off an Achilles injury. So I feel bad for Penix, but that was the biggest loser of the night. I felt like ridiculous, but
Yeah.
biggest loser in the night. And
Excited for Penix. Shitty spot.
Super shitty spot. So, I mean, the draft wrapping up. I do want to shout out the Bears also grabbing Taylor from Iowa, the punter. He won't be doing too much punting per Caleb, but great pick.
Again, another big receipts from Caleb. He's the man. He's the man. We're not punting a lot this year. He's Lisan Al Gaib. He speaks truth.
I'm excited for like if they like lose week 1, like it could be all coming down in Chicago. Like I can't wait for like those kind of situations. But I'm looking forward to it. Good NFL draft means NFL OTAs and training camp are close, meaning NFL is almost back, and life's better when 3 days out of my week are football or NFL football.
I hope we win. I hope I don't hate Sundays anymore. Please, Caleb Williams.
But draft was great. I felt the recap about it was good. Winners and losers, beautiful. Transitioning now, we're going to look at our NBA update. A lot of stuff going on in the NBA. A lot of stuff.
I love the playoffs.
Speaking to you now on Sunday, the Lakers are alive. They're alive. We're going to get to them last because we know everybody wants to hear that one. But the look around the league, Knicks, hot. Clippers, Mavs, best series so far. And I heard you say Miles Turner potentially as your guy. So what are some of your takes? What are some of your takes so far throughout the rest of the playoff?
Clips Mavs is definitely the best series so far. It's 2-2. The Clippers tied it up today in Dallas.
No
I want to read
Kawhi.
you some stat lines. No Kawhi. I want to read you some stat lines.
I'm listening.
Game 3. Going to go back a little bit. Maybe this was game 2. Let me pull this up real quick. Game 3.
Okay.
Paul George, 30 minutes, 3 for 11 shooting, 1 for 6 from 3, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
Read Kawhi's next. I know what it is. Read it though.
Kawhi's in game 3. 4 for 7 shooting, 9 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. How are you the star player and you take 7 shots? Kawhi's a weird guy. But
he was on a quote unquote minutes restriction because he would I minutes restrict myself. He said it, minutes restriction, so I can be out there for game 4, or I don't play at all. Wah, wah, wah. Didn't play, out for the
Paul
series.
George tonight. Out indefinitely.
Kawhi indefinitely? I thought it was the series.
Out indefinitely with no timetable for return. Retirement watch, in my opinion. Paul George tonight. 11 for 19 shooting, 7 for 10 from 3, 33 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. How in the hell is this guy the most volatile superstar maybe in NBA history?
He's some people's
There's
goat.
Some great other stat lines. He's some people's goat. He's
like younger guys, but
physical unicorn. If you watch some of his highlights, like dunking on Birdman and like going toe to toe with LeBron in the Heat, like he is 6'8", long wing, like two-way stud,
playoff
like
piece.
Can make any shot. Playoff piss poor sometimes. Other times playoff
name.
P. Like I don't know what to do with him. I love him. Like he's smooth as hell. Like he looks great, and like sometimes is the best player on the floor. Other times is one of the worst players on the floor. And him and honestly, like their whole team, Harden too in the playoffs had a great day today. 33 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Like
I
how are
saw
you that
I
bouncy as a
saw
superstar?
I saw a great tweet today about Harden. It was like, I love when someone could tweet. Someone tweeted today, vintage Harden, and someone quoted the tweet and was like, "This could literally mean anything. This could mean he had a great
Yeah,
game or a bad game." And they were like, "Harden
yeah.
rocks for that reason." But I mean, it was a great battle. I was really hoping they blew the lead tonight because it kind of would have washed out the Lakers' blown loss. But Kyrie was phenomenal. Not enough though for the Mavs. I felt like Harden really did take over well. PG had a phenomenal shot in the corner with Jones
Mhm.
guarding him. I don't know if you caught that one, but like 8 seconds on
Great
the
step
chef,
back.
step back to the corner, like unbelievable bucket. Dominated the last couple minutes, him and Harden. So incredible win. We're back to LA for game 5. I think that's been probably the best series. Definitely good back and forth.
Yep.
I feel like it hasn't gotten the same media coverage, obviously, as like Lakers or Knicks, but like that's been great ball in that series, I think. Like actual like great
A lot of
basketball.
offensive ball too. Not like Cavs Magic great ball or like Knicks
No,
Sixers today was
no,
a Knicks
no.
Sixers today was a wrestling match. But
Cavs Magic is like
great ball fireworks.
Cavs Magic is like a rough 2-2, and like it's just I don't know. I
Ugh.
feel for our Cleveland friends. They're really hurting. I saw the trend on Twitter. I decided to send a couple like Twitter DMs to our friends, like in our group chats that we send like tweets in, and everybody's got that picture with like JB Bickerstaff, like in the circle with the slash through, like they're canceling JB, and like he's just dead, and everyone hates Niang and Donovan Mitchell. Not a good
Bad.
showing after his like, oh, I'll take note of that after game 3, or good to know, whatever that quote was. So
Yeah.
bad showing for him, but that series is I'm going Cavs in 7 now. I said originally Cavs
Wow.
in 5. I'm going Cavs in 7.
A brutal 7 game
I mean
series. Someone
that's
just
tough.
don't
Having to go
message
seven,
this series just don't get hurt.
having to go 7, and then having to go play most likely Boston is going to be very tough.
It's tough. They're just
But
gonna yeah.
that series, but on the other side of the East, Knicks Sixers, Bucks Indiana, 2 very different series, but same score. Indiana is 1 game away from going to the next round and knocking out Milwaukee.
That's tough. And I want to talk about I want to hit that game first, the Miles Turner game, and the Bucks may be dead. But long term for the Bucks, like shit just happens. Like your 2 supermax superstar players are out today. Like
Bad luck.
what bad luck. What are you gonna do? Like Giannis wasn't in going into the series. I don't think he has intention to play game
I'm fairly
5. I
certain he's
wouldn't if
out
I
this
were him.
round. I'm fairly certain he's out this round.
Same. So yeah, there's unlikely he's going to play game 5. It's very unlikely teams come back from a 3-1 lead and shit just happens. Gear up for next year, Milwaukee. Don't hang your heads too low. But the Miles Turner game, I was recently introduced to ball of Miles Turner. Why was I recently introduced to Miles Turner ball? He is on the Chicago Bulls in my 2029 NBA
Oh,
2K24, my career game, my perfect big. My perfect big. I'm a big fan of the pick and roll
that's
with
so
the
stupid.
lob threat center. I want a athletic guy that can really go up and get it. Like Andre Drummond really comes to mind. Someone who could really dive down towards basket, grab some
Andre
rebounds, which
Drummond
I know
is
Andre Drummond's my perfect center, but Miles Turner he has the size. His rebounding is questionable, which I know you'll get to, and more. Miles Turner today, 10 for 17 from the field, 7 for 9 from 3, 9 boards, 4 assists, 29 points, led all scorers. That's
when you're
insane.
6'11", there should be a rule like riding a roller coaster. Like, got to be this tall to ride a roller coaster. If you're 6'8" or taller, do not take more than 5 threes in the game and grab a fucking rebound. He is not
7
KD.
for
He's
9.
not KD.
7 for
He shot
9.
35% this year. He wasn't a star at all. My issue with Miles Turner,
40%. Pretty solid as a
he was on my
6'11"
fantasy
guy.
team this year for the first time. I think I actually had him 2 years ago and traded him, but this year he stayed on the roster the entire time. I probably had about 4 or 5 freakouts on him. Someone that is 6'11" and averages 6 boards a game is mind-boggling to me. Granted, he's an incredible shot blocker. And he actually did,
Great job,
fun
Walker.
fact, had the winning block to win me my last category and win me my championship in fantasy. So I always have a
That's
special point in my heart for Mouster. But to say he's your
Ha!
perfect big is ridiculous because who gets 6 rebounds and you're 7 feet tall? I mean, it's just mind-boggling to me. And like,
He's in the corner.
I'm like,
He's in the corner waiting for the
he
swing.
had a great day today, but he has a lot of bad days from 3. I believe me, I know. I track a lot of his stats all season, but
A career 35.8 for a near 7-footer is not bad whatsoever. He's a career 35%.
But we don't know how much he was shooting it in the beginning.
He's got decent volume. The fact that he is able to be that big and extend the floor, I don't think his game has been maximized.
I definitely think Pascal Siakam has helped his game. I'll say that.
Oh yeah.
And definitely stretched the floor a little with him. Did Halliburton play today?
Yeah, he did okay.
Okay.
He was kind of
I saw he was like questionable this morning. So, but I
8 for 16.
Oh, okay.
He actually had only 4 assists.
So how many assists?
4.
Oh, 4. They said 24. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, I think Siakam, that trade really helped them. They're a fun team. They play no defense, but they're a fun team, and they're
Not sustainable.
They're 3-6, right? That's the matchup 3-6. So winner of
Correct.
them will get. Ooh, that would be a pretty fun
The
series. Knicks or Sixers, but are Bucks dead? Before we get the Knicks Sixers, are Bucks dead?
Bucks are dead.
Damn.
But don't hang your head too low.
Okay. Clippers, all right, not Clippers. Sixers, Knicks. Thoughts before Lakers, Nuggets? Oh, wait, we actually have one more other game to talk about, but before we get to them.
Sixers Knicks is an absolute wrestling match, and I really was disappointed when they matched up with each other because I really do love both of these teams. But the Sixers are my jam, and that fourth quarter of Embiid today, 1.7 turnovers, can't happen. It continues to be one of the biggest playoff chokers in the history of sports. Joel Embiid, I don't know what I know. He just like you got to quarantine him before the playoffs, or he's going to blow his knee or
Bell's palsy. Be nice.
Bell's palsy. What the hell? How does this keep happening? Like Philly, like I'm sorry. Like I'm so sorry for Philadelphia because I know the Sixers are probably what the top team in the city of like what everybody really rallies around. And Joel Embiid as you just can't do it. I don't get it. He's not fat. I love him. He's great when he's on the floor, like a 30-point per game scorer. One of the objectively one of the best players in NBA history. No. One of the best basketball players in NBA history. Won it with the least amount of playoff success. And that is the name of the game. Tyrese Maxey has been solid. Like Batum has had the one game in there. I think they're keeping him in too long, but Sixers are also fucking dead. And that makes me super sad because they just can't get over the goddamn hump.
He's dead.
Reload the team.
I would think that Embiid is in like the Trout Griffey, like no playoff success, but like an incredible player, like a ton of regular season success, and like
he's worse. Embiid's worse because baseball.
Trout has only made the playoffs once, like.
But you could hit a home run every single at bat.
True,
and lose every game 1-0.
That's fair.
Joel Embiid could score 100 points, and you're probably not going to lose that game. He doesn't. He scores 1 point and turns the ball over 7 times the fourth quarter. Like
yeah, and I think it was a rough scene for Joel today with the fuck Joel Embiid chants at the Wells Fargo Center.
The Philly fans care too much. Their biggest gripe is they care too much.
No, that's not a bad gripe. Those are solid fans. They're the toughest fans, but the fact that they care too much is not a bad issue. Definitely not.
It's not a bad issue, but Joel Embiid has dealt with a lot. Like he dealt through the Ben Simmons era and everything, and no one turned.
I'm telling you, Joey, nobody feels bad for him right now. Nobody in that city feels bad for him. And bitches, it's already been changed to a fantasy baseball name. I already got a screenshot. And bitches. So.
But I'm sad. I know. Feel bad for him because you're paid to put ball in hoop.
Yeah.
But I'm sad.
Yeah, that it is sad, but good for Brunson. Knicks are back. Maybe Knicks are back, and I would get New York going far would be good for the sport. So I'm excited to see that. Good as well. But
objectively good for the sport. I'm so sad. My heart breaks for Philadelphia every single day.
Before Lakers Nuggets recap, talk about your boy, the icon.
Oh, the game is on right now. Need a score check-in. End of the third quarter, 1-point game. Timberwolves are up on the Suns, 89-88. We'll see how that ends probably during this episode recording. Anthony Edwards, there is something cooking in Minnesota, and I am here for it.
I thought you wanted him to get out. Pick one.
After this year. Anthony Edwards, it's a perfect complement. Like, they play perfect complementary basketball, highest defensive rating in the league. The scene, Anthony Edwards rebound, outlet pass to Rudy Gobert, 2-on-1, the wrong way 2-on-1, Rudy Gobert and one layup. That big old body's on the floor. Cut to Anthony Edwards. Pump. Like, I think 9 pumps. If this was a Key and P video, there would have been a ton of flags.
Were they counting? Were they counting pumps? I think it was more than 3.
They should have been. I think there was about 9. My count was 9. Anthony Edwards, he brings the energy. He's great on both ends of the floor. He can get a bucket anytime he wants, which is huge when not everyone on that team, not many other people on that team can do that. So he can stop the runs of a KD, Booker, Beal offense by himself as a fucking 19-year-old. That's absurd. They're up 3-0. No team has ever come back from 3-0.
Yeah.
They're moving on. The Timberwolves are here. They're ready to go. Everyone has bought into their defensive philosophy. Defense starts offense. Anthony Edwards is here. I'm all over it. I want it so bad. He's awesome. Great to watch. They're a great team to watch.
Suns dead for the future too.
Heard they're firing Frank Vogel.
Ridiculous.
That's a headline I saw today.
I saw that too. From Woj too.
I think that's a poor decision. I think that's a bad decision. But Suns dead. Suns need a significant roster turnover. They have some really. I mean, obviously they have a ton of huge names.
They have no bench.
They have no bench. They need to change. You can keep the 3 stars, but you need a complete retooling of the roster if you want to be successful.
I'd agree.
I also love Nurkic, but you need a point guard.
Nurkic is going to get
a bench.
If they lose tonight, Draymond Green is going to be all over Nurkic on Twitter. FYI, look out.
Fuck Draymond Green from Cancun. Cool, thanks.
Jose, I'll meet you there.
Come on the podcast, Draymond, because I know you have nothing else going on.
Please, Draymond, we're begging.
Please.
And obviously, wrapping up NBA, the series of the NBA playoffs so far. Nuggets, Lakers.
No, it's not. What?
Really? Because every fucking tweet, everybody's talking about that. Nobody cares about any other tweet but that series. No one's talking about it the same way. What series is bigger than that? Minnesota, Phoenix is bigger than Denver, LA.
The King
Oklahoma City versus New Orleans.
Day. The King lives another day. I was ready to come into this episode hot. I was going to be on my Stephen A. Smith shit with the Cowboys and some Lakers hate. I was going to be hat on. I was going to be laughing at you about the Lakers and LeBron getting swept. But I will say I'm impressed. I know we have a few specific points we got to hit.
Yeah.
It is not Darvin Ham's fault, and it's not D'Lo's fault that they are in this 3-1 hole.
I think there's some D'Lo fault. There's some Darvin Ham. There's a little bit. It's a team game. Everybody's fault a little. You know, LeBron had some bad turnovers in game 2 and 3 in the second half. AD had some tough stretches in the fourth quarter in the first couple games. So I think there's some parts you can point and blame other way. I think the stat, obviously, everybody's seen it on Twitter. My least favorite stat I think I've seen. I have one that was all over Twitter and one they said on the broadcast. Time of leading in the series. Lakers. 136 minutes and 31 seconds. Nuggets, 41 minutes and 7 seconds. Tied up for 14 minutes and 7 seconds.
So the Lakers are up 3-1, right?
Up 3-1. Unbelievable. Including in that time for the Lakers is a wire-to-wire Game 4 win. Did not trail.
That's actually crazy. The wire-to-wire is crazy.
For the first 3 games, this is my other stat, they're the first team in 30 years to lead the first 3 games of a playoff series at half of every game and not come away with a win.
That's your GOAT?
Unbelievable. But to your GOAT comment, LeBron James still not swept in the first round, Michael Jordan twice. And also, it still hasn't, and he's in his 21st year, just in case anybody was forgetting the year. But I don't think they found something. I think it's going to be very tough to get another game. But saw
No
a
one's ever
quote
come
on
back from
Twitter
3-0.
that said, if we can get it to 3-1, it was before game 4. If we can get it to
Mhm.
3-1, that's been done before.
Yep.
And we've gotten to 3-1. And
No
that's been
way.
done before. So I'm just
Game
saying,
You got
I
tickets to
think
game
there's
7 yet?
it's in Denver. I do not have tickets. But I think there's just they're a very sound team. And I think one thing for me that I believe is that they really haven't played their best ball, which is like terrifying that they're up 3-1 and they haven't played their best ball. They've kind of dominated the third quarter, but like Murray had the big shot in game 2 and some big shots in game 2 and a good second half. He had a decent game 3, but like didn't have the best game 4, but like outside of Jokic, who's just a freak athlete and just does anything
Yeah.
he wants, but like they haven't been like sound top to bottom. Like the first game 3 they won, but like Aaron Gordon took his game to the next level versus like Jamal Murray. So like I think it's terrifying. It's 3-1 and like I don't think they've played their best ball.
I think I kind of disagree. Well, they haven't been playing their best ball. That's true. Game 1 and 2, I was sitting there like cackling to myself because the Lakers were up. The Lakers were up 20, and I was like, the
Yeah.
Nuggets don't look fate. The Nuggets weren't. They never
No.
force anything. They never panic. They are always like they're rebounding the ball. They're swinging it around. Like
Incredible mental toughness.
incredible
Incredible.
mental toughness. I didn't think they looked worried at all in games 1 and 2. Game 4, like I think shots. I don't think they had it. Like I think they kind of took their foot off the gas for game 4 a little bit, and that was like
I mean,
I looked
it's
at them
tough
like
to
the
sweep.
Lakers
It's
are playing.
tough to sweep. It's tough to
Oh yeah,
sweep.
and obviously
That's tough to sweep LeBron. It's tough to sweep AD. Like the Lakers are a good team. You know, like it's not
one
like they're like bums. So like it's tough. So those games happen, but I felt like the third quarter was the main issue of games 1 through 3, and they
for
just
sure.
didn't have that third quarter turnaround like the last 3 games. So they kept rolling. But
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
Lakers really I think made a point to take care of the ball and like take care of the third quarter and like
Absolutely.
that secured a win for them essentially. Like it did. There was some brief moments there where it got to 10 points, 9 points late in the game that I was like, oh, could they pull this one off? But the Lakers aren't a bad team, and I think they're starting to understand nobody, and I mean nobody, beats LeBron and the Lakers 12 times in a row. So maybe they figured something out. Game 4 did look really good for the Lakers, but tough spot.
I don't know. I think it's a tough spot. I mean, you got to win 4 straight. Like it's going to be very tough. It's never been done. We all know. Like we all know it's a task that's bigger than man. Literally, no one's ever done it. So, does LeBron have it in him? I don't know. I think one thing I do want to give him credit. I think this has been Anthony Davis's best playoff series in his Lakers career. He's been
Fair.
he's been like 30-10 almost every game. He stayed healthy. I know he had that wrist thing. He came back,
Played
didn't
through
face
it
him.
big time. Yep.
And to be honest, like a worry I had was kind of getting worked by Jokic or him like not showing up in these moments. I hope, knock on wood, that does not happen now that I'm speaking it in game 5 this week. But I think him and Jokic have matched each other very well. Jokic
I think
obviously passes better, and I think he controls the floor better, but like keeping up with him rebound wise, keeping up with him points wise, like those are two of the main guys. And I think he's been the second best player behind Jokic in the series,
I
personally.
think that's fair, and I think that's super interesting because like they're matched up with each other a ton. I mean, like they're the two biggest guys on the floor. Obviously, they are, and
But they switch,
neither
and Rui's been guarding him here and there, and Aaron
neither
Gordon
of them
switches on
can
to
stop
AD.
each other. No
No,
one can stop either of them. And like it's not even Anthony Davis. People are calling for him to be defensive player of the year. And Jokic at 33, 14, and 14 yesterday. Lakers win. That's all that matters.
right.
So the obviously like they're different teams. We don't want to dive. I'm not going to dive too far into the X's and O's and like what their purposes are in the offense. But the matchup and the way they cancel out each other, like points wise, like they're both like I agree with you. They're the top 2 players on the floor, but I need one of them to step on the other's neck.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be great. I think the odds of that happening are probably leaning towards Jokic more than stepping on
Probably.
AD, like than AD,
Yeah.
because I think he just takes over a game. And I mean, he did it last game, and it kind of freaked me out. I had like Vietnam flashbacks. He did one of those like 23.9-second shots, a
Yeah.
3-pointer, and made it. And when he hit that, it got it to like 9, I think. And I was like, oh no, here it comes. So, but ended up working out in our favor. But For me, the biggest issue, and yeah, Ham's had his faults of rotation wise and not calling timeouts and the challenge issue with LeBron during the tantrum. But the main issue for me, I personally believe, it's been a two-parter. It's been Rui, Reeves, and D'Lo versus KCP, Gordon, and who's their fifth starter? Oh, MPJ,
Yeah.
obviously.
Mhm.
And Reeves and Rui have been slow for the first three games. Reeves did have a great game four, and D'Lo had a
Yeah.
great game three. Or yeah, no, he had a great game too. But
7 for 10.
but other than that, like it hasn't been cohesive together. And then yesterday, four guys in 20 with 20 plus points, that's how you win a ball game. And that was
Oh yeah.
huge. And I think one issue that like Aaron Gordon has done well at is Aaron Gordon, specifically him, has done very well on the offensive rebounds. They've out rebounded the Lakers on offense on when they're on offense by 17 this series. And the game four was the first time Lakers total out rebounded them. And that's been an issue. They've been getting second, third chance opportunities and converting. And it's tough to beat a team regularly. It's incredibly tough to beat them when they have 30 chances.
Yeah.
So that'll be an issue. If they can get game five, I think if they grab game five, I know it's like, yeah, you got to win game five, no shit. But like you grab game five in Denver. I think we're cooking with some gas.
There's true life.
There's true life. And you know what? I saw a tweet today very similar to me. I woke up upset about game two. I wasn't happy we won last night. I was upset about game two, thinking like
Yeah.
it should be fucking 2-2 going back to Denver. So we'll see. We're alive as of now. I hope this isn't getting a cut in when I release this on Wednesday saying like, update, the Lakers have been knocked out. So I hope that's not the case. But that's going to be going on. Monday's game 5 and Thursday's game 6. But this is going to be a big week. Sports and game 5. And please just get back to LA. Please get back to LA. So
Big
it's
week.
going to be a big week. It's going to be a big week.
A lot of stuff coming up. A lot of series going to end. So next week, looking at round 2 should be pretty interesting. Maybe a couple series still lingering on. But the biggest thing going on this week, the day is here. I'm moving out on Thursday, moving into Chicago, just south of Wrigleyville. And moving is stressful. Moving is weird. I live at home with my parents. I like living at home with my parents. And we thought this would be an interesting conversation to have, like, about moving in your 20s and kind of what that's like, all the things that entails that people maybe don't think about, and like when, why, how to even do it. And Michael, I know you've been kind of debating about moving out just a little bit, so maybe start with that. Where's your head at? Like, what do you think these days?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of always talk sports and we like this stuff, but like we always like to talk about what else is going on in the world. And this is a big conversation that goes on with people that are interested in sports and want to be around more people who like sports is moving out. And I think that's
Yeah.
like being with people, being in 20s, like it's something I really think about. It's a little different situation, especially since in California, everyone is not dumb. They know it's expensive to move out and like live by
Right.
yourself. So
Same. Yeah.
everybody, me, and yeah, Illinois, Chicago as well and myself, and I believe that like it's just tough. You come home after college, you want to save some money, and my job didn't start till about October of 2023, so my full time job. And
Yeah.
basically, I was waiting and I was saving money, and now it's uh, April, almost May of 2024. I've been home now for almost a year and a half since college, living at home,
Yep.
and it's tough. Like I think it's just a different conversation, and like I do want to go out and like watch games with my buddies at the bar. And I do want to like go do fun things. And I think it's just tough. And I think people in this spot, there's a lot of outside factors. And for me, especially that like, I just think there's so much in my mind about it. And I care like, and I just think about there's so many other things that I'm worried about. And I don't know like when to prioritize like moving out and like getting to it.
Yeah. Like we've both said multiple times before, having the opportunity to live at home and save money and have your mom do your laundry and cook you dinner is awesome,
Right.
and everyone should take advantage of that. But it's also fair to say that a time comes around where you really do miss living with your friends in college, living in like a walkable city where you can just like pop out and be in the action, and also being around people your own age. Not that I don't love my parents. I get great advice from them about work, but they're not 23 working at home. Like, they're parents working at home, which is great for like kids and everything. And like same with my coworkers, like a lot of them like have no intention on coming into the office because of family stuff. I have some other friends that work in the office most of the time. They have a ton of work friends. They do a ton of things. They pop out to weekday Cubs games, and that sounds awesome. That sounds something that I want to be a part of. Work from home works for some people. maybe not fully for me. So what did I do? I took the jump. I'm moving in with one of my longtime friends, Kyle. We've been friends since kindergarten, and we're getting an apartment near Wrigleyville. We wanted to be by Wrigley on purpose. We both live at home in Lake Zurich, and it's been weird. Moving is stressful. It's hard, but I'm very happy I'm doing it. So a little background: this wasn't my original plan. I've been dating my girlfriend for almost 4 years now. We've
Shout
talked
out
about
Maddie.
moving in. Shout out Maddie. We've talked about moving in together before. Kind of the timeline is a little further down the line. So my original plan when I moved home was going to save money for 2 years, 2.5 years, move in with her somewhere nearby where she's teaching, and kind of figure it out from there. Flashback to reality, I've been living at home about a year and a half, start looking for places, and I realized like saving money is really good, but I need to prioritize me. I want to be around people my own age. I want a little bit of edge to me, a little bit of city edge. I want to get in the action. So started looking at places, hopped onto Zillow, which I'll get into the how a little bit later, but the why, when I told my cousins, like my family, we got a strong Italian family. Like I'm a bit of a mama's boy. My mom has cried like multiple times already about me moving out.
Oh no.
But she looked at me one day and she said, I really think it would be like, you should look into moving out. Like, it'd be good for you to be around people your own age. You're too comfortable at home. And for me, like, people give me energy. I really like being in the action. And if I'm just I'm in my bedroom right now, I work in my bedroom, and I don't get a lot of energy from people these days. So that's why I moved out. And my family was like, what are you doing? But I thought that's my story so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's just like, luckily, like, you say you work in your bedroom and stuff like that. I know a lot of people that are like that, where it's tough, where like you literally like, all right, like getting up for your morning, like you go maybe get some coffee and you like are sitting right next to your bed working.
Yep.
And you're like I'm just stuck in this room. And like, like it's just stuck like that. And like, luckily I have an office here. Like it's my dad and I share an office, but like my dad doesn't stay at home. So like I use it, but I'm lucky enough to do that. But for me, it's just exactly what you said, like wanting to be around people, want to be around people in their 20s and like people like us that are like, you can do stuff with, because I said this to one of our friends, Silly, once. I like was kind of like a little bored of Orange County, and not so much the city, but he was like, "You sound like spoiled. Like I would love to be in Orange County all the
Oh
time
yeah.
instead of being in Columbus." But like I didn't mean it like that. I meant it so much in like I felt like it's just not the same when you're living at home, and it's tough to go from being 2,500 miles away from home with no responsibilities and your best friends, and you're living with them and doing that, and it's just great to now like, as you said, our parents are amazing, but it's just a little tougher when like you're not with people your age and stuff like that. And like there comes another factor of like money, saving money. Like you said, Maddie, like my girlfriend Meg, like me and her, like, there's talks, and like she's in medical school right now. So there's residency talks and stuff like that. And that's a little scary. We don't know where we're going to be potentially after that. And it's going to be tough to like, not find out for a couple months, but like maybe this is a time for me to kind of, like you said, like explore on my own, like go do something. And that's kind of what I've been looking for. And I know I made a joke to you like last week about how like, oh, if I come to Chicago, will you play softball with me? Like that's just something I do. But like stuff like that, like I want people to go to games with. And like, I love my home friends and I love my college friends, but like sometimes like it's kind of like how my dad said it before. He's always told me like it's tough to go home again, and it doesn't matter if that's like your college or your hometown. And like it's tough to be in like it's like not that Villa Park is not amazing. I love Villa Park and everything that
Yeah.
comes with it, but it's just tough sometimes that it's not the same Villa Park. You're hanging out with certain people and you're doing certain things, and like there's a lot of life things. Like some people are on different tracks of life, and I think that's great and that's okay. It's tough for me sometimes. And I think I get worried about like, okay, like, am I just going to live here till Meg matches, or maybe I should go do something, or maybe just like move out even in Orange County or like LA, and
Yeah.
trying to take that initiative because I want to do that. And like, I want to be around people like that.
What do you think your top three? Because I know you're talking about out of state as well. What do you think you're like? What are a couple places you were looking at for, or at least thinking about for moving?
Yeah, I mean they're big cities, like obviously, because I think I would like thrive there. I don't think I'm like a New York City guy. That's definitely not on my list because I think that would be insane to live there. But though for me, I think like one thing I would love to do, like I think like Columbus, like even moving back there for a couple years, like I don't know, I think that's like kind of like a nostalgic move back. Like I don't know if that would be
Yeah.
the best spot, but I feel like I'd be comfortable there. Jake's there still for school, and like I still have friends there, so that'd be great. I think St. Louis obviously would be great. Meg's there for school, that would be amazing. But I think my like two real places that I like actually am interested in are Chicago because I think we have a ton of friends there, and
Hell
I
yeah.
think that would honestly be like amazing. Like the fact you're living like that close to Wrigleyville and like Wrigley Stadium, like Wrigley is not Angel Stadium. Wrigley is not like a shit stadium. It's a mecca of baseball, and like the fact that you're like just there and you're gonna get to like leave work and then just go to right to the games or like go to the bars in Wrigleyville or like Old Crow. I know is the Ohio State bar and like Saturdays, like shit like that is like awesome. And like I think like Chicago would be great. I also am very, very interested in Boston. I like have done a lot of research
Wow.
and we went last summer and I think Boston is awesome. Like it was clean, it was sick. I obviously hate like Boston sports, like Celtics, Red Sox, but like the environment there was like it felt like New York City Junior in a sense where like big city, very cool things, a lot of stuff to do, but like cleaner, looked a little more relaxed, not as intense. And like I don't know, like I thought it'd be really interesting to live there. I feel like that would be cool to live there, and like it'd be a big stretch, and like I don't really know a lot of people there, but it'd be
That'd
very
be
interesting
tough.
to live there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
like
it'd
we
be
talked about
tough, but like
yeah. We talked to moves about like moving to a new city, like where you really know nobody. I think like Chicago, shout out wrong side would be sick. St. Louis, obviously Meg's there. Chicago, we got people there. Columbus, obviously, but that'd be a jump. And I think like I've thought about moving out like out west to Arizona or something and just
right,
completely changing up my life and like that would be sick. But you got to think about money, budgeting, like all that stuff. And like it's hard to do. It's really stressful and it's easy to get your own mind in knots about it. What I did, like I kind of tried to take it like small chunks at a time. Like I really like worked myself up to do it because I was nervous about it with like my girlfriend, work, like everything. And I was like, I'm really gonna like apply to for tours for 10 apartments. Say it took me 15 minutes. Like you press the button, you fill out the form one time,
right,
and like
right.
it's so easy to just like start it out. And like budgeting was
Like that
harder.
first step is obviously like you said, like it's so easy. It's just like there is that like you got to just do it. Like it
You
was
got to
kind of
take
like
it in
starting this
chunks.
podcast. Like we like talked about it and like for months, and then we just did it. We finally started and we did it, and we're trying and we're getting after it. But
Yeah,
like,
that's
yeah, I
life.
don't
You're just
know.
one step
That's
at a
life.
time.
Life's not, like yeah, life's one step at a time, and like I think I've told you like it's just tough because there's like work schedule. When's the right time to move with work, and when's the right time? Like I think you mentioned
Oh,
off camera, but like how rent and stuff like that, like how to do it in the right time of the year. Like
I
who's
didn't
gonna move
know
to Chicago
this.
in October? Like
I was when I've went through like the thought of moving out like 3 or 4 different times before I actually like went through doing it. Most recently, like this past like fall or winter, I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm giving myself 3 months. I'm gonna move out. And my parents were like, hey, well and good and everything. Who wants to move in what the who wants to move in Chicago in November? Like, I was like, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And then we didn't do it. Conversation kind of fell off. Now it's May. Great time to move in. I've been talking to a few other people who are now looking for apartments, and it's like $300 more per month for rent,
oh,
$200 more. Like, moving in the summer versus like the winter, I didn't really like look at prices that much in the winter, but I didn't know like the rates changed regularly. I thought it was like the buildings just kind of had like a flat rate and it depended on like timing of when leases ended. And it was also really easy to find leases, which I didn't really expect. Like there are a ton of places turning over like every single month. So it's not like it's hard to find a spot. You got to jump on them quickly because they do fill up, but there is I I got it like the second apartment I toured. I applied and we got it. So it's like time of year, like I didn't think about that. I was like really ready to go and like that was interesting. Work, like I just gotta like nut up and do it because work I'm summer is definitely more of my busy season of work. Like we're getting into it. I'm definitely like the busiest I've ever been at work right now. And this week's gonna be tough. I'd say I'm over like halfway packed right now. I'm really trying to get ahead of the game to make it easier on like myself and my parents. Um, but work, like no change is going to happen in your life unless you change something about your life. Like and we're
what a
finally doing
quote.
it. It's not going to be fun, but we're going to do it. Like I wanted to switch up from the environment. Like my hometown friends are all still here. My friends I've had since elementary school, and I'm still going to see them pretty regularly. In
Right.
fact, a big reason about me moving is I didn't like taking the train an hour and a half to the city on the weekends. Like I love being in the city, but it's
Yeah.
a it's a commute to go like enjoy it. So I'm excited about it. I want to talk about budgeting too. So have you
Okay.
thought about any budgeting for moving out, or like not that serious yet? Or not
Yeah,
into
I
it
mean,
yet?
I've kind of looked at it. Like, it's obviously been like packed in April with like clients filing and stuff. So
Yeah.
like, I really haven't done the full deep dive. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough sometimes to budget. I feel like, especially living at home, because like if your parents are buying groceries, stuff like that, and like your meals at home are going to be budgeted a lot differently than your meals living out. Like there's
I am
no
not a good cook.
DiGiorno,
Yeah.
there's no DiGiorno pizza on the grocery run when my mom goes. Like,
Right.
not saying like we eat that often. I don't eat that often, but like that would definitely be in the cart when I go out and get groceries, is that. So stuff like that. And like, I definitely try to save a lot of money. Like, I'm not a big spender.
Yeah.
I don't buy a lot of cool shoes, or I don't buy cool gadgets. Like, I literally am trying to get, like we've talked about in past episodes, how I'm trying to buy a PS5 for NCAA. Like, I literally have been saving for months, like taking a little bit of paycheck, like here and there, to like put it together. Cause like, I hate spending money and I'm super fucking cheap. But I do that because I'm trying to save money. Like I
Mhm.
said about Meg, and like if I don't move out and I move out with Meg, like I want to save money. I'm trying to save money just for my future. I think yes, there is a fine line between like saving money and like doing cool experiences. And I've been trying to do more experiences and trying to do more stuff because I feel like that helps me. Like, we would go out to watch UFC fights. I had a really good time and I was like really excited to do that. Or I would go out and do stuff with friends, like not like just sit at home and watch TV, which I love doing that sometimes.
Yeah.
But for me, like I need to do a little more personally. So like
Same. Yeah.
I've budgeted, like not like by like just kind of like I look at my bank statement and like doing stuff like that, but I'm not like spending like money out of my ass because like I can't. I just don't do it. Like, I would rather not. And like, I thought about buying tickets to like game 4 of the Lakers. Like, I talked about it with my dad, and I just like personally couldn't come to the decision of like spending $200 to sit in the nosebleeds. Like, to me,
Yeah.
it's
Fair.
like that experience is not worth it. So like, I do have a fairly decent time just budgeting my money by like looking at it and like checking bank statements, but I don't have a set budget.
Yeah, that's fair. I think same here, kinda. I'd say I'm probably like more of a spender, but my parents were really like dead set on me like budgeting like what reasonable rent would be, and I'm gonna get a talking to from my mother after I say this,
Oh
but
no.
I did it in a rough way, but I'm gonna figure it out. I know for a fact that I
Yeah.
can like afford the rent price that I have, but it's hard to budget when like I can't compare it to like anything I've done up until this point. And if someone has a better idea on how to do this, like please DM me or like comment to us on like Twitter or something. But I have net like my college grocery budget was very, very slim to begin with. I don't like I
Right.
made it work, frozen pizzas, lunch meat. Like I'm not a good cook. I'm not an extravagant cook, and that's fine. I'd like to do a little more now, but also wasn't making the money that I'm making now. So
Absolutely.
now I have all this money. Since I've had all this money, I've only been living at home and don't have any expenses. So I bought myself a new Apple Watch. Like I've bought things here and there. Like I'm not always spending a lot of stuff. I threw out my PlayStation headset today. The earpiece was literally hanging on by a thread. I've been duct taping it together for like a year. So I get the use out of the things that I have, but I've never been making the money that I'm making now and also having expenses. So I don't know what I can budget for groceries and everything until I start actually doing it. I think I'm gonna figure it out. I know I can pull it off. I'm good with my money to begin with, but it's hard. Like you're not gonna go through your budget workbook and then come up with a perfect number of a rent price that's available and ready to go, and groceries and grocery stores that are walkable. So shit's gonna happen, and you just kind of gotta like make it work as it goes. And like I know, like I have to keep an eye on my budget, and I'm confident moving in with that being my mentality. Keep an eye on your budget, and I'll be okay. So I
Right.
think like that's a part like you want everything to be perfect when you're making this decision on how to move, where to move, when to move. But as long as you're not being a total idiot about it and live like I'm not living in a penthouse or anything.
No, no,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. But as long as like you can like keep yourself responsible, I think I feel good about it. I don't think I need to do anything extra than that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's like a smart way to handle it, and not just like spend money just to like spend money like, oh, I'm gonna get a nicer place just to get like, you're smart enough to realize not to do that. And I feel like most of our friends are, which is good. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if anybody has advice on like how to do the move out thing, or how to do it the right way, or how to get on it and just stop being a wimp, like let us know. Like, please let us know in any of the forums we have, because we appreciate it. But
Yeah.
I definitely need to get on it. I just think, yeah, I think it was a good conversation to have, because you are moving out this week and I've been thinking about it. And like, yes, I've been home for about a year and a half, but I haven't like my full time job. We've been home for the same amount of time. I just didn't
Right.
have my full time job. I was working at like a Schorr Metals and stuff, and doing stuff like that. Like, it just it kind of makes you like want to get out there and do it. And I think this is a good conversation to have. And I hope other people listening are like, oh, I am moving home and maybe there will come a point in time where I want to move out, or, okay, I'm glad they're talking about this. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to do. And I hope you understand what we're trying to say and you have some interest and can give us advice because we're still looking
Yeah.
for the advice.
Yeah. Maybe a little too late for me. I'm moving out. Maybe I'll be a broke boy
Yeah,
in about a
Joey's
couple
dead, but you can save me.
years.
You can save
Yeah.
me.
But yeah.
I thought that was great. And I think wrapping up, moving, Joey, we're all excited. I'm excited because next week we're gonna have a different background
Yes,
in this
sir.
YouTube video if you guys are watching. So that'll be great to see. And everyone's excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to come visit. So I'm stoked. Even though I don't move to Chicago, I'm excited to come visit.
You're going to move to
Um,
Chicago.
oh, that'd be something. Taking a little break here. We're gonna get a chance to read an ad from our sponsors. So we're gonna kick it to us now for our clutch moment of the week. Our clutch moment of the week is brought to you by our sponsor, Schorr Metals, premier metal supplier since 1970, serving Southern California. Big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Go see Stan, he'll help you out. Joey, who's your clutch moment of the week?
Olu Fashanu's mother for some expert box out work on draft day. As soon as he came up on the screen, I knew Michael. I knew this was very intentional seating positions. It was Olu Fashanu. Then at his right was his mom. Her right, further outside of Olu Fashanu, was the girlfriend, who I assumed to be the girlfriend. And when the pick got announced, everybody jumps up in the air. Girlfriend's trying to go bob, weave, get a high five, get a kiss, get whatever, get her name out there. I'm assuming so. No, Big Mama wasn't going to let that happen. Expert kick step by Olu Fashanu's mom. Didn't let the girlfriend get too much of the spotlight. It's about her baby that day and maybe a little bit about herself as well. So great box out moment by Olu Fashanu's mom.
And shout out to Olu Fashanu's girlfriend, joining the ranks of the CeeDee Lamb girlfriend trying to grab his second phone and the Russell Wilson ex-girlfriend that is now idolized forever. So congratulations to her as well. My clutch moment of the week goes out to an event that happened at Angel Stadium. I thought it was incredible to see, and it really made me feel like society might have a chance. Clutch moment of the week. It didn't matter your skin color, your race, your gender, your political affiliation. It didn't matter. Nothing brings the people together than the hat shuffle. I don't know if you're familiar with the hat shuffle, but the hat shuffle, 3 hats, ball in the middle, everybody works together. People are yelling it out, 4, 4, and then you know that then there's another hat brought in. Everybody works together. They're talking together. Everyone works. Everyone cheers when it goes down perfectly. If we ran our society like the hat shuffle, we would be successful. So shout out to the hat shuffle for showing me there's still some humanity left in this world.
Hat shuffle at the ballpark. That's America, baby.
America, baseball, hot dog, hat shuffle. Clutch moment of the week. Now to outside the line.
All right, finishing it up with outside the line, starting out with Tone Deaf Person of the Week. Michael, you're up.
Tone deaf person of the week. Joey, are you familiar with what the Lakers got last night?
What'd they do?
Look between Q and E.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'd rather kill myself than do that, Michael.
What in the fuck was going on Twitter this week? Why was this a trend? Why was that a trend?
Awful. Arguably worst trend I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just like didn't understand half of them. I get like the OK, JK ones. I was like, oh my god, like negative engagements maybe. Like they were getting millions of likes and views. Like, what the fuck was happening?
Every quote tweet I saw was, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Yeah, everyone was so confused. Like, why did it get big? So tone deaf. Anybody who partook in that and tweeted this out because I was fucking lost. Maybe, was I dumb? Am I tone deaf?
Can I not read? I was thinking the same
Like-
thing. The first one I got was when it was like look between Q and E on your keyboard, and it was a W. Okay, great, makes good sense. But then there was some where I swear there was like 7 letters in between them, and I really looked at them like I was doing like the fucking Wordle or some shit, and I can't read. I don't get it.
Like I saw one that was like, remember that one video? Look between caps lock and G, and I was like, it was like ASDF, and I was like, oh, that funny. And I was like, those were funny videos. But I was like, this is so stupid. And like people were tweeting it out, and I'm like, oh my god. Like it went on for like 3-4 days. Thank God the draft came and took over, but so tone deaf. That was my tone deaf. Who's yours?
That was bad. I'm coming at your boy. I came at the Lakers.
Oh.
I'm coming at the Cowboys. Micah Parsons. You were my tone deaf person of the week. I think
So tone
in it
deaf.
in a day and age where all these athletes are friends and they work out together and that's fine, like the day and age of social media, like they got podcasts too, that's okay.
Right.
I still don't think it's okay to really glaze the draft of your division rival. He was real excited. I know he went to Penn State. He's a Philadelphia guy. But Micah Parsons was way more excited about the Eagles draft picks than he was about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And that didn't make a lot of sense to me.
I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. He was talking like he's talking like shit. He was like, and he's just tone deaf about that entire conversation with CJ all weekend on the couch was tone deaf. Like
Yeah, he looked like an idiot.
better division than AFC North was dumb. They don't even have a better division than the NFC than the AFC South. CJ's division.
Yeah.
So what the fuck? I just thought he was dumb, and he was like, I don't know what. I love Micah, great player, but sometimes his takes like maybe he just looks for engagement and bait because I don't get
Yeah.
half of the things he says. And like
Yeah,
he said something today. He said something like like, "Oh, I can't believe Brunson isn't here anymore." And I'm like, "Do you like the Sixers or the Mavs or the Knicks? Like, who do
yeah.
you like?" So he's
Do you,
all over the place on social
do you
media.
think if he wasn't from Philadelphia or like I I wonder what other players look like who are from like the area of their division rival. Like
Oh,
like if Cole Kmet is from like Arlington Heights, Jack Sanborn, another like hometown guy, like if they like played for the Packers and started rooting for the Bears, like that they'd probably get shit on by Packers fans. So it's a
oh,
little
oh,
wrong side by Micah,
yeah,
but
definitely. I feel like that rivalry as well. Like it's very similar to like a Cowboys Eagles rivalry, where like, why are you glazing them? Like,
s- so it's like kind of unfortunate that like it's probably a team he rooted for like growing up, but he still like continues to like kind of look like a fool. Like he like maybe he's is baiting for engagement, but he kind of looks like a dumbass sometimes.
it's just like to me. It's one thing to me to like I don't even know how to put this. Like, it's one thing to me if when you're drafted, when they ask you how is it going to be when you're on the Cowboys growing up in Philly, and they're like, oh,
Mhm.
it's tough. My family's a Philly fan. That's one thing, day one. But
Yep.
now, like, bro, you're in year five, or you're like 3 or 4. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's enough with the glazing. Why are you talking shit? And I know he was like, they get so lucky, but like, don't compliment them ever, ever.
Yeah, like yeah. Why would you even say, "Oh, they get so lucky"? Like they've beaten you a good few times, like in the last few years. It what's Jerry going to say in contract negotiations
He's
with
gonna bring
Micah?
up
Like,
receipts. He'd be like showing
yeah.
them.
So, do you want to play for the Cowboys or for the Eagles? So,
Right.
I like hearing players talk about like how it really is from the player perspective, but Micah, man, you're being kind of tone
Before
deaf.
I lose it on him, we can't dive too far into him. I can't. It's too early to dive into Micah's issues.
We'll get
What
there
about
later in the football season.
later in the calendar year? Wrapping up though, wrong side, right side. What do we got?
I'm gonna start with my right side. I got to give myself a little pat on the back this week. It's been
Okay.
tough sledding lately. There's been a lot of just like new stuff at work, kind of all at once. So it's been really stressful with that and moving and everything. So a lot of new experiences. But I've been getting some recognition over the last week. So I've been really feeling good about that. There's account managers that specifically request me to be project managers on their projects. My boss has been recognizing me. I've been putting like I have to bill my time to the clients. I've been billing my highest utilization rate ever over the last month or so.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I not gonna lie, I've been cooking a little bit. So it's good to like feel that
Stay hot.
recognition from
Stay
good
hot.
to feel that recognition from other people at work, stuff like that. So I'm again still not perfect. I'm going into another stressful week this week, but been feeling good a little bit. Been giving myself a little pat on the back.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
feeling good. But wrong
Okay. And
side.
wrong side.
As we're recording here today, the T Wolves just swept the Suns. They're going to be
Oh, they
out
did.
one of their most important pieces heading into the second round. Who is that most important person? Chris Finch, the head coach of the Suns, just got absolutely ran over by a freight train in Mike Conley. There's a great video, not a great video, but actually a very bad video going
Sad video.
sad video. He Conley's going for a loose ball that's kind of going out of bounds. Like he bumps his coach kind of into the floor seats, and his knee kind of turns a little bit, goes knee to knee with a fan sitting down there. And it just happened about 5 minutes ago as we're recording this. So the projection so far isn't looking good. They think it's actually a pretty serious knee injury,
It
and
was
thank
knee
God
to
you
knee.
could
I just
coach on
saw that
one leg.
video.
Yeah, thank God you're able to coach on one leg. Maybe first wheelchair coach we've ever seen. Sister
Do you
Jean,
think
I
he's
know,
going to be on a
wasn't actually on
scooter?
the sideline. I I think it would suck to be on a scooter for a full basketball game. I'd rather
Yeah, you're
take
probably right.
wheelchair. Crutches,
Probably right.
maybe. If he tough guy, he comes out in crutches because then he's still on his feet.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah, that is wrong
That
side though, especially like potentially not being able to celebrate a sweep and like a chance in the Western Conference semis now. Like guy
they're
might be at
rushing
the
to their
hospital right
coach's
now.
bedside. Yeah.
Yeah, like Jack McKinney from like the Winning Time season. Like I don't know if you ever saw Winning Time. Like
Yeah.
got hit by a car when he was on his bike, missed the whole season. Lakers won the title, like
Yeah.
missing the whole
That's
thing.
tough.
So
Wrong. Very wrong side.
that's so wrong side.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Get
my
well soon,
yeah.
Chris Finch. Get well
Get
soon.
well soon, Chris Finch, coach of the year candidate, highest defensive rating in the league this year. I love the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards also just absolutely baptized Kevin Durant on a dunk. Get better, Chris Finch. We need you. Michael, what do you got for right side, wrong side?
Wrong side. Who's your daddy chance might start up by the time this episode airs if the Lakers lose in Denver. I know it. We've talked about it. Is it better to be swept on your home floor or, lose on the road and you have to hear away fans? I think it's better definitely the away road because you don't want to get swept ever. But
If I'm the
I
last
think
guy on the bench for the Lakers, I'm kind of mad I got to pack up and travel one more time.
no,
If I'm
you
the
got
last
another
guy on the
chance.
bench,
You got another chance to win a ball game. Prevent the wrong side, Lakers. Prevent the who's your daddy chance because guess what? They're going to fucking come out. So
they're
you can
coming.
either win and protect it. This isn't Philly where like if you lose at home, like they'll kill you and run you off the court. But get a win. Prevent this wrong side. I think this wrong side, very good chance of happening. So please don't let that happen.
Insane legacy
Hopefully,
game for
no,
LeBron.
no, absolutely not. He, like I said earlier in the episode, he hasn't been swept. MJ twice, LeBron 0. Legacies for okay. Next, right side, softball comeback. Shout out to the boys. Battle adversity. I posted on the story. I hope you guys enjoyed the content of us. But down all game, came back and won. That's how you do it. Everybody did their part. Shout out to the
Hell
boys.
yeah.
Wash up Sluggers. 5-0.
5-0.
5-0.
That's big time.
We're going for undefeated season. So shout out to the boys. Right side of the week. But looking ahead to next week, I hope you enjoyed this episode about sports, life, moving. Next week, happy graduation to people in college. We're going to have a senior from Colorado Boulder. Tori Lanzone is going to come on the pod, talk about graduating college, 1 year of college football with Dion in prime time.
Let's
and
go.
what her interests are, along with her own accounts of baking. She loves to bake and she loves to paint. She has her own side account. She's very interested in it. We're going to ask her a little bit about that and what it's like graduating and what her experience was at Boulder. So very much looking forward to that. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Please like, please subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday. Joey, take us out.
Stay blessed.